I'd like to share with you how to do the biannual reports for SPED forms. You're going to click on the Reports button, and we use the top two reports. These should be completed so that everything that is in SPED forms is as accurate as possible on October 1st and April 1st. That's why we say they are due on October 1st and April 1st. And when I say due, they really need to be completed by that time because that's the time when we do go in and pull those reports. So the first report is the combined report. You only need to do this report if you case manage students. If you're an occupational therapist or physical therapist or something that way where you don't case manage students, you would not need to complete the combined report. Although there is really cool information in here, and you could access this report by selecting one of these additional buttons. However, for the purpose of the report sent to us, we would prefer that it just stay as is and just click Update. In this report, there are a few things I want you to double check. If you could double check that the grade of the student is correct, double check the student's primary disability. If you don't know what the primary disability numbers mean, you can look down here and there is a code for that here. And primarily, the most important thing of all things is serving district. Now, if you can't remember what these columns mean, you can go ahead and click on the blue hyperlinks, and here it says SD. You can look up here, it says serving district. So if you are in one district, the numbers should all be the same. Please, please, please double check that that is correct. It's also a good idea to double check the resident district at this time. The rest of these pieces are not necessarily vitally important, particularly the IEP prior written notice date. You don't have to bother going in there and making a bunch of changes. Now, these dates are really helpful. These reports are helpful for you to go in and double check when IEPs are due, double check when evaluation reports are due. But for our purpose, these are the pieces that are the most important. Then make sure that you have all the students that you case manage on your list. If you have a student that is not on the list, please ask the current case manager to assign you as the case manager as soon as possible. Print off this report, sign it to verify that you have double checked its accuracy, and that report is done. Another report that we need is the teacher workload analysis. So select that report. In this one, we do want you to make some changes at the top. One thing that will make your life easier is if you change the date range time to include the majority of this school year. It doesn't have to be exactly. But if you include the majority of this school year, then you'll be sure that you get all of the students on your list. Then, if you could please select provider. So we aren't getting the supervisor time, all the para time, just the provider time. And then leave everything else as is. Please be sure to leave everything else as is. So that active students, you're going to get rid of those inactive students, and make sure that you don't go for the finalized, because then you're going to have a lot of them that don't show up if the case manager has not finalized. So you leave that as is, just change the dates, click in provider, and click refresh. On this report, what I want you to double check is, again, the serving district. That way everybody's double checked that the serving district and the grade are correct. A good thing to check is to make sure that the service is appropriate, is really what you mean, and that there is a number here, 1, 2, 3, or 4 under this. Unless you service birth to 3, there should not be words for the location. There should be a number, and I will explain why shortly. Double check that the services are all correct, and then that should be done. Now, if you have students missing from this report, then you need to go to that student's IEP page. So we'll go to Test Student. We're going to go to the Services page. And where that report comes from is this page. You need to make sure that your provider number is in the box for any students that you service. To find your provider number, you can click on the blue hyperlink and you will see a list of all of the provider numbers in alphabetical order. Enter the individual's provider number. The other problem that we often have is if the service date is not completed or if it's not appropriate, if it hasn't been updated. If there isn't a date in this box or it's from 2012 to 2013, it's not going to show up because back where we listed the dates, 2013 did not appear within that range. So that's another reason why we often have students missing from the list. Make sure all the students are on your list. Have all of those issues. Oh, the other piece, sorry, I'm going to quickly do is I wanted to show you the location. If you have nothing in this box, if you have clear in this box, then that IEP is non-compliant. And that would be why a number did not show up on your workload analysis. Also, if your workload analysis says mild to moderate cognitive impairments, and then behind it, it says resource room, then your IEP is not compliant because your IEP has to say special education or general education. If students come in from other districts and that resource room carries over, then you are going to have that problem where your IEP will not be compliant. Other people are allowed to edit this field. I don't allow you to edit this field because these are the only legal answers. So if you don't have a 1, 2, 3, or 4 there, double check that that box is filled in. Click Save. Go back to your reports again. Click off the workload analysis. One more thing that I do need you to do after you print the workload analysis is highlight any students that are on that list that are either homeschooled or parochial schooled. They are technically on an individual service plan, and we use that information for another project that we do. So please highlight any students on that list that are in parochial school or homeschooled. Sign the form to verify that you have reviewed it. Then also we need a copy of your schedule and any paras that you direct. Schedules do need to have start times on them, and they also need to have the student's name in some way. Can be initials, full names. I don't care what order, what format you have your schedule in. I missed one last year. The teacher was buried in amongst the paras. That's fine. It was my error. But make sure that those pieces are in there. Then take the combined report, teacher workload analysis, and your schedules and submit those to the Southern Plains office. And I appreciate your time and effort in making sure that these are accurate and up to date so that we actually can use this to create other reports and I don't have to bug you as often for other information and financial reports. So I appreciate your time and effort to this. Thank you very much. Have a great day.